AdLib is the DSP-agnostic buying platform to scale your programmatic campaigns smarter, faster, and more profitably. AdLib helps independent agencies and marketers deliver premium programmatic performance without the complexity, cost, or overhead of traditional DSPs. Their platform provides the tools, data, and automation to run enterprise-quality campaigns, from CTV and audio to geofencing and YouTube, all under one roof with zero trafficking headaches. Plus, they're not just a platform, they're your growth partner. The AdLib team helps you win new business, expand budgets, and deliver measurable ROI that keeps clients coming back. It's time to unlock programmatic. Join leading marketers worldwide who are using AdLib to deliver more campaigns with better results. Check out getadlib.com.
Hey everybody, Eric here. We have an awesome episode coming up with Adam Epstein, CEO and co-founder of Gigi. Just by way of disclosure, Gigi is a portfolio company of Imperium where I work. Other than that, this conversation is going to be amazing. If you're into AI, if you're into startups, if you're into fitness and using AI in all aspects of your life, you're going to love this one. Sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to Open Market, a podcast about building companies in the advertising industry. I'm Joe Zappa. I'm joined by Eric Franchi and Adam Epstein, the CEO and founder of Gigi. How's it going, Adam?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. This is twice in 2026. I must be the only two-time 2026 guest, so I'm honored to be here.
You're the only person building real agents, or maybe the only person talking about it nonstop on LinkedIn and Twitter, which earns you the distinction of being here.
Real ones know, Joe.
Eric, how's the person on this pod who can do the least number of pull-ups?
What?
That's you.
Hold up.
How many pull-ups can you do?
I mean, both rotator cuffs are blown, so I don't do pull-ups. I do chin-ups, and I'll knock out sets of like 8 to 10.
All right. I mean, I didn't know we were doing age-adjusted injury affirmative action on this pod, but... but 8 to 10 is not bad, I guess.
No, he said sets. He said sets of 8 to 10. That's pretty good, Joe. What are you banging out on your pull-up sets?
Age adjusted, it's actually like the same. I could do like 20 chin-ups.
Good for you, man. That's great.
I'm lean and mean, guys. Come on now.
Yeah.
I live in Miami now, okay? I'm just rolling around, just walking in the sun, doing pull-ups, playing tennis. Eric, you guys have kids. You have like actual responsibilities. I do two things: record podcasts with Eric and pull-ups.
Joe, is you living in Miami now just a euphemism for you being on peptides?
I am not on peptides, okay? I did this the old-fashioned way.
Might be one of the only people in Miami not on peptides, but neither here nor there.
It is a very observant question, because literally the first time I got lunch with like a new friend in Miami, he was like, "So what peptides are you on?"
For sure.
Is that right?
Yeah, apparently everyone down here is on them.
Adam, talk to us. You were just seen knocking out sets of effortless pull-ups in the park in a beautiful live-in outfit. Talk to us about the fitness routine.
So I was hoping to get to the how AI pilled are you in your real life? And so my fitness routine has fundamentally changed in the past few months because I now have Claude as a personal trainer. So I used to go to classes, like I used to be a CrossFit class guy, but it wasn't doing it for me anymore. And so I trained Claude to be a personal trainer, in which I set monthly or bi-monthly goals, and Claude spits out a plan for me. And I just show up to the gym like a psychopath, talking to Claude, logging my weights and reps and saying like, what's next? Give me feedback. What's better form? And so I'll do a push-pull leg day with Claude at the gym. And I like to cycle when the weather is nice in Toronto, which is about 4 months of the year. So I'll do push-pull leg at the gym and cycle 3 days a week.
That's awesome. So you're recording yourself and uploading the videos to Claude, and it's giving you...
No, I'm just logging. I'll log and I'll say like, I'm getting pretty tired. Like, can you like give me guidance on form for this exercise as it particularly gets heavy?
That's awesome. I heard Mark Andreessen say that an unnamed tech executive who happens to be obsessed with BJJ, not me, presumably it was Zuck, has cameras on him during his sparring sessions, and then he uploads it presumably to Claude or one of the meta models, and then gets actual critiques on like how the match could have gone differently, what you could have gotten, kind of done better here, and apparently he's like obsessed with it.
For sure. I think using an LLM for coaching more specifically across any facet of life is a great use of an LLM. So getting back to the question that you guys didn't ask me of how AI pilled are you and how am I using AI in my professional life? So I have scheduled tasks with Claude in which I've trained Claude to be a B2B SaaS sales coach and a executive leadership coach in which Claude will analyze all of my emails, all of my calls, all of my messages with customers from the sales side and provide me with weekly coaching advice for sales. And then also I'll upload our company values, internal memos, and mantras of CEOs that I particularly look up to, and have Claude also provide me with weekly leadership coaching based on all of our interactions across the company. So
That's an awesome idea.
I think LLMs for coaching is a fantastic use of time.
I think not only is it a fantastic use of time, but I've heard from friends who have coaching businesses that it's been a huge problem for them because people are using it in this way. And basically all of the questions you would have asked like business coach like 3 years ago, you can now have an LLM giving you, I would expect, very similar advice. It's also incredibly granular. And that's exactly what I think, you're highlighting, Adam, is like, I use it as well for tennis and for lifting and for dieting. And I mean, it gives you a level of granularity and it's sort of analyses of like your body, what you're doing, et cetera, that even a human like professional trainer would be hard pressed to do, because they're just, let's face it, they're just not going to sit there and like 24/7 like receive details about like my weight went up this like 0.6 pounds today and like whatever. And yeah, so the customizability and granularity of it is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and just giving an LLM all the context, like for a weekly leadership coaching guidance, it has all my emails, all my phone calls, every single interaction I have with Slack. So there's literally nothing that I'm doing aside from in-person meetings that I'm not covertly opening up granola to track is the only thing that it doesn't actually get. So the degree of context is just unparalleled relative to what a coach would normally have.
Okay, so that's the new thing for you with respect to AI. Because last time you came on, you were kind of blowing our minds with how you were, I guess, sort of kind of helping agencies cross the chasm into becoming kind of similarly junior AI pilled. Now it seems like thematically thus far, this has been, you're just like using it everywhere with how you work, huh?
Yeah, of course. Like if the CEO of a AI first agentic AI company is not as AI pilled as he could possibly be and leveraging models to make their life better and more productive, then I would question the integrity and growth prospects of the company that they're building. You just have to be as leaned in as possible in everything that you do in order to build the best possible product and take a lot of analogs from other verticals to your own. Like, I think one of the things that we've learned a lot from over the past few years in building this product is obviously coding agents are the most successful vertical AI agent in market right now. Coding agents have fundamentally changed how software engineering is built, how companies are built, the cost structure of software companies. And the maturation of how coding agents has evolved is very similar to what we'd like to get to. So when coding agents, as an example, first came to market, engineers would prompt an agent explicitly to write that specific code that they wanted to write. Now coding agents have evolved at an abstraction layer above, in which the coding agents are just given an overall problem set by the engineer, and the engineer's job is to orchestrate that and to find the ultimate outcome from the problem set that the engineer has set up, and do running background tasks with a high degree of automation. And so we think about that a lot within our product and our vertical. So right now, Gigi, by the way, for anyone that's stuck around to actually listen, is an AI agent for programmatic media. Our first product is for the Amazon DSP. And so rather than pushing buttons in the Amazon DSP, our customers orchestrate Gigi to execute the day-to-day work and the tasks that they would normally have. And so getting back to this coding agent example, our customers now are just prompting Gigi and assigning Gigi work in the manner that they typically used to do the work. hey, like a simple example would be inventory exclusions for bad domains and apps that are underperforming. So rather than running an inventory report, analyzing all these campaigns and determining whether or not to block or bid down on certain inventory, you just assign that work to Gigi and Gigi automates it. But where we'd like to get to, and that's like V1 of where coding agents are, what we'd like to get to is that V2 next architecture in which you just say, this is the problem that I'm hoping to achieve. This is the goal that I'm hoping to achieve for this client. How would you execute all of the knobs and levers that you would normally have in this media channel or across a collections of media channels as we begin to expand outside of Amazon DSP in order to achieve that result? And so getting back to your initial point, Eric, if you're not looking at how other leading verticals, in particular coding agents, are evolving and how the behavior of these coding agents are evolving, and you're working in vertical AI agents for our vertical being advertising, then you're missing the evolution of what your vertical needs to be.
Are there any context loading issues, Adam, for the agents in that regard? Like you were mentioning how, for personal productivity or fitness or whatever, like the key is getting it all of the context, right? So how does that work for Gigi agents?
Yeah. So I think this is one of the things that have allowed us to excel, and it's really resonated with our customers. So a line that I probably said about 10,000 times over the past 18 months is that with agentic AI, we no longer buy software, we hire software, we onboard it, and we train it like we would a team member. And so when you onboard and train a team member, you provide them with a bunch of docs and a bunch of collateral and a bunch of artifacts that allow you to customize that team member to your company, your agency, or your brand. That team member is given a set of collateral about the client itself and about the brand itself. And so one of the things that I think has been particularly formative in allowing us to excel is we give our customers, primarily agencies, the tools to do exactly that. So whether it be setting agentic operating procedures for how they name orders, line items, creative, and audiences, or how they build out line items strategically across inventory types or audiences, or whether it be advertiser context. So for every advertiser that an agency onboards, we basically get them to put an always-on media brief in our app. So now Gigi becomes immediately personalized to that agency, as well as being immediately personalized to the advertiser anytime it's working on that advertiser. And what we'd like to get to is a next iteration of that is those are all human-directed context. And so the human, like us, we're listening to calls with customers, we're having meetings with customers, and we're extracting all of this subjective and sometimes objective metrics on customer desires and needs. But what we'd like to get to is start to run background tasks and have almost brand and client personas in which Gigi is providing a degree of intelligence on everything that's going on with that brand that a human would never be able to do, because a human is never able to analyze all of that data and upload that in a contextually relevant way to execute on a go-forward basis. And that's something that really excites us, is now taking away the human contextual builders and actually having AI automate the context building so that it's more precise and accurate and more data-driven to provide better outcomes for our customers.
So is it fair to say that when you talk about the AI sort of being able to generate or digest its own context, do you think that the amount of training that clients will need for agents in terms of learning how to onboard them, do you think that will diminish over time?
I think all of our AI literacy is improving. Across every single person that we work with, AI literacy has gotten significantly better. So when we first launched Gigi a little over a year ago, one of the things that we'd like to say is that we expect everyone to be bad at prompting, and that's our problem, not their problem. And how you prompt is ultimately the output that you're going to get from an AI agent. And so I think the prompting problem is largely solved. We've been prompting now for almost 2 years. People are starting to get good at prompting. People know the ways in which you should prompt to get ultimate output from an LLM. Even more so now as people are beginning to use things like Claude for more complex tasks, particularly in a work environment, people are now gaining an understanding of tool calling and context building and terms like skills that are relevant for any vertical AI agent. So tool calling are the integrations that people have with Claude. For us, as an example, we've taken the painstaking work of integrating with basically every single API endpoint in the Amazon DSP as tools that Gigi could call. So rather than a customer pressing buttons in the Amazon DSP directly, Gigi's able to do that because it has access to all of these API endpoints. And we've also built proprietary machine learning models as tools that Gigi could call anytime Gigi is changing a bid budget or bid adjustment. So we like to say Gigi is always going to make more precise actions because invariably a human is arbitrarily deciding those numbers in the legacy environment, incumbent ways of operating. But here in our environment, Gigi's using a proprietary ML model. And so I say all that because these concepts like tool calling, skills, context building, and even prompting are now terms and skills that people are just colloquially using in their day-to-day life. And so I think the work that we need to do to level up people on how to execute on an AI agent has dramatically lessened. The education that we need to provide is dramatically lessened. And the other thing that I'd say is, as we begin to onboard more and more agencies, one of the things that I believe to be true is AI adoption is a proxy for how passionate you are about your job. So when we see people immediately come into Gigi and realize, oh, wow, Gigi is a force multiplier for all of these things that I know that I was personally doing to the better of my clients or to the better of my job and to the better of my company, I can now leverage this AI agent to do exponentially more than what I was able to personally do before. That is so profoundly impactful for people that really love their job and want to be excellent. And it's a real good self-selector for leadership because the inverse of that is also true. If Gigi's capabilities now actually illuminate the actions that you were not taking on the benefit of your client to the benefit of being better at your job and better at your company, your hesitance towards adopting AI is likely a signal that you weren't doing the things that you want an AI agent to profoundly execute on in an exponentially more productive way anyways. And so you see now the AI education, AI proficiency, AI adoption really augments the best people, and it self-selects for leadership the type of people that they want to really lean into within their company.
So part of it is you're improving the product over time, context building, baking it in, et cetera, which is making it easier for the clients to onboard Gigi as an agent. But then also people are getting more used to using this technology. So of course, that's going to close the gap over time. Part of what I'm getting at is you wrote a great piece this week about the distinction between agentic software businesses and SaaS. So, maybe we can get deeper into that. Also, before you go off on that, I think the comment about people who are obsessed with excellence are going to love AI. I think this is very true. I think it's very interesting in coding versus marketing because I have developed and it's evolving all the time, a very ambivalent attitude about AI and marketing, where on the one hand, I use it constantly and I'm a huge proponent of it. And you and I went back and forth about this recently. And then on the other hand, I also see so many people using it so poorly, right? And doing such slop on LinkedIn that I'm now it might be a huge advantage again just to do human content because so many people are using AI poorly in this context in a way that maybe doesn't relate to coding as much as it relates to marketing. But that doesn't mean you don't use it for marketing. Again, I still use it all the time. The other thing I'll say is that on that, marketing and AI and sort of a commitment to productivity and excellence is I had a client yesterday, or prospective client, ask me what is the scope? And I'm of course I gave him a scope, but he's like, how many white papers do I get? How many blog posts? And I'm like, I've never pushed back on a client on scope, right? I think in the AI era, they, especially because we don't have, we're not paying for the token usage or whatever, which again, you can get into, there shouldn't really be limits. Productivity has become much less of a barrier. And I think if you have a marketing agency, to talk about my part of the universe, where they're you only get 2 blog posts per month or something like that, I'm fire them. Because they should be able to leverage these tools to be more productive on your behalf, especially if you're okay with AI usage.
Well, let's double down on your point, Joe. Getting back to the analog of software engineers, right? So effectively what you're saying is content marketing that is slop is bad. And there is more slop as these AI tools have become increasingly more ubiquitous across content. And so people are not proofreading their work, or rather, people are not doing the work up front, whether that be actually writing your work or developing skills with your AI agent so that it has your voice, and then editing it once you realize it's not in your voice or in an AI's voice. And that's exactly the type of thing that's bad software engineering, right? So if you just rely on the LLM to execute the code and you don't review it and you have no idea how that works with the larger system that you're integrating with across of your company, it's just going to be bad work. It's going to lead to a less productive team. And it's not out there front and center where it's saying like, I'm submitting AI slop, but a good engineering leader is going to realize, oh, okay, like Joe, you just submitted AI slop as a PR. Do you know of all of these changes and the effect that it's going to have on the broader system as a whole? And so it's clear that like the folks that use this in a very lazy capacity are the folks that weren't great and passionate about their job to begin with. To the extent that they're just using AI to produce more slop, well, that's a very bad signal.
Yeah, it's about the context building and the prompting. Eric?
Yeah. No, it's unfortunately, it's like universally available for free. So everybody's taking advantage of it. And I believe that this will be fixed by the platforms because this is no good for anybody. So I would imagine that they can detect this stuff and, start to downweight it versus things that are, more human or fully human and actually good.
Maybe.
Well, but it
maybe. Yeah, like
I'm not, I agree.
these platforms win on engagement, not on taste and quality. And the LLMs are optimizing for engagement. They'll give you the hook that is going to get you the most possible engagement, and the sliced up, very small, choppy sentences are the easiest to digest in one line on LinkedIn. Like that's not necessarily.
I was doing it before the LLMs. Like again,
Sure.
like Adam's making a point, right? Like this is how copywriters used to write for LinkedIn. Was you would have the hook to make sure, the broetry. You have the hook to make sure someone can immediately understand what you're saying and that you're making a point that's going to get their attention. And then you keep it like scannable and digestible. The problem is now it is proliferating at such a rate that it's like I, as someone who used to write like that, I'm like, oh my God, like F this, like I don't need to see like another take on Publicis LiveRamp that's like been horribly crafted by AI. But what you guys are saying is exactly right, because it's like the problem is mediocre marketers or people who are not marketers or not writers. The problem is they are using it. And it's like, you might be a very smart executive or CEO or whatever, but you're not a writer, right? But now you're like, someone on Twitter had this hilarious like joke the other day that was like, all you people who like couldn't write a coherent sentence before are now writing like 8-paragraph LinkedIn posts, like in the style of like a novelist. And it's like, we all know what. Yeah, it was Gareth. Yeah, it was so good. Glazer. Yeah, that was a hilarious line. And he's right. Yeah, like, because I know him. He's the type of CEO like Adam who would always write, right? Like always shared their thoughts. But now people who have no thoughts are using AI to generate them. That's where we're getting ourselves into trouble. So that's about nothing. But I think like Adam's point that ultimately, like across coding and writing, the people who are doing the context building and like the effective prompting and so on will create better work, and like the cream rises to the top. I do think that's true. And then the question just becomes whether you're a software CEO or a marketing hack. It becomes like, how do you set up the people you're trying to help with all this stuff to be successful?
Yeah. And one of the things that we've done in our engagements with agencies is we've worked with them to celebrate the work of the people that are most leaned in. So there's a bit of carrot and the stick, right? So basically our customers, the primary mechanism with which our customers use our product is through these things called tasks. You assign Gigi tasks, Gigi does the work, you either accept the work, you review the work, you can automate Gigi's work, all of that. And so we have this thing that we give to agency leaders. Maybe I shouldn't say this to actual practitioners that use our product, but all of the execs that use our product get a little dashboard that shows their task acceptance rate across their entire team. And invariably, across most of the agencies that we work with, the top team members have the highest task acceptance rate because they're the ones that are reviewing the work, that are acknowledging that this work is going to be better for their clients and getting better outputs and having happier customers. And so we've said to our agency customers, don't say, accept more tasks with Gigi. Like, why aren't you accepting your tasks? But celebrate the people that have really leaned in. And not just celebrate them, but like we've worked with them to, send them swag. We've worked with them to do shout outs in shared channels. And I think one agency leader that we worked with said, we need to architect a way to showcase to our team that the best way for them to advance their career is to be using products like this. And this individual person is on an upward trajectory because she's so advanced in using Gigi to the benefit of our customers and our agency. And so I think that's the new approach that we've certainly gone down, is just celebrating the people that have leaned in and providing a framework for our agency leadership that's using our product to analyze their performance to the better of their customers and company.
Eric, how many ad tech platforms does it take to buy one streaming TV ad?
Fewer when Magnite is involved.
Exactly. Magnite helps media owners monetize premium inventory, and they're making it even easier now by connecting directly with buyer agents to simplify how campaigns are activated and managed.
Wait, agents? Is that just a fancy way of saying AI is doing the heavy lifting to remove friction?
Pretty much, which means fewer dashboards for us to stare at and more actual outcomes. Learn more at magnite.com. There's such a consultative component of what you're describing, Adam, that does make me realize like there are parallels between, my business, which is an agency, and yours, which is a software company, in ways I hadn't previously grokked. But I wonder how you think about that in the context of company classification, because historically to SaaS companies, like having a significant consultative component has been anathema for valuation reasons and durability. But then I also think about something like a Palantir, right? And the forward deployed software engineer thing. So it's this has been done, and the reality is many software businesses have had a consultative component. Just curious how you've been navigating that question.
So I put that into two buckets. So one, we don't have forward deployed software engineers, but we do have forward deployed account managers. We've been thinking of calling them media engineers, but I think it's a little bit of too much of a stretch. I floated it by our top account manager, and she wasn't loving media engineer, but maybe Harvey, one of the leading AI agents for law, called them legal engineers. So it could work. But so we have forward deployed account managers who have deep expertise of this domain and deep expertise of the media channel that we operate in, the Amazon DSP. And they will literally sit with our customers as part of our standard 3-week onboarding and understand their current playbooks. We'll literally do an audit of their work in the Amazon DSP, look at their line item and order history and understand the buttons that they're pressing. And they'll basically say okay, here was your playbook that you wrote in a manner that was constrained by human labor. And this is the amount that your team is actually executing that playbook. Let's rewrite this playbook right now in a manner that's unconstrained by human labor with AI always on, always executing. And so we do that heavy lifting work upfront anytime we work with a customer. But I think the point that you're getting at, Joe, and that analog that you were saying about taking a consultant-like approach, one thing that I believe to be true is that our product can enable the 10x media manager. So coding agents can enable the 10x software engineer. You see that meme of a single person by a computer with 100 screens and being able to execute everything. And so we've seen it firsthand across some of our customer bases of single media managers able to 3 to 4x the amount of work that they have, amount of clients that they have, and a dream of a services business and agency able to exponentially increase customers and revenue while keeping the same team flat. We've seen that dream. And so we've now seen it in practice, the ideal org structure and the ideal way of working with Gigi to maximize productivity. So naturally, we don't have any competitors at the moment. We likely will soon, but we don't have any competitors at the moment. So we're not unseating a legacy incumbent in this space. And so what that means is we don't have an actual budget that we are unseating. our budget that we're unseating is the labor budget that one would allocate towards serving this media channel. And so people need to rationalize Gigi's upcoming costs with a labor budgets, more or less. And so part of our consultative work with our agency customers is this is the ultimate way to architect your team for maximum productivity. Like if you're trying to rationalize our costs and you're saying to us, oh, like Gigi's going to be more expensive, it's because you're not doing the change management work internally to re-architect your org in an AI first manner. And we will literally suggest how they do that. Like we'll understand their current org structure and like think of like a McKinsey style deck after working with an agency for 2 months. We'll say, this is your current org structure. This is the optimal org structure to get maximum productivity from Gigi. This is what we recommend. And we think that this can totally benefit you all. And it doesn't lead to cuts. Like this isn't a manner of like, oh, adopt Gigi, cut labor. You know, most of the agencies that we work with hire Gigi and say, I need Gigi right now because they can't staff their teams on this media channel fast enough. The Amazon DSP, as we all know, has wonderful industry tailwinds. And the corpus of individuals with 4+ years of experience in the Amazon DSP is probably in the hundreds globally. So if you're a top agency, it's really hard to hire like 10 Amazon DSP media managers like that. And so Gigi solves that gap. And so for these folks, it's not eliminating the current team members, but it's just closing those headcounts that you're probably going to struggle, or open roles that you're probably going to struggle to fill, and or reallocating existing team members to other media channels and other facets of the agency's business so that you're able to maximize optimal productivity with Gigi. And so that's the work that we're doing. Like the tech is the tech. Like these models are good enough. Like these models became like this is no longer a technology problem. The models are sufficiently good enough, and our product has hit a degree of maturation in which Gigi can perform basically any task in the Amazon DSP with a degree of precision that no other human could, and frequency as well. And so like the technology is no longer in question. It's the change management within the enterprise as we begin to deploy Gigi and the degree to which they're willing to move their org in an AI first manner. That's ultimately the question. And that's the work that we find ourselves doing every single day.
This is like fresh thinking for agencies and a lot of incumbents. But this is something that has been, I think, kind of well discussed over the course of the past few months, just in, just like the technology and AI circles specifically. Like in March, right around the time I think you really started, kind of hammering this, Sequoia had this epic post called Services, the New Software. And it starts with a sentence: the next $1 trillion company will be a software company masquerading as a services firm. You need to get to the point where you are selling the work, you're selling the outcomes, and it's so transformational and, such a leap for customers that your business model is going to change, at least in the beginning. And I think everybody needs to get comfortable with that. And, we've made 2 unannounced investments that kind of look like AI-enabled services because we, outside of Gigi, we're already an investor, because we sort of know what's coming around the bend. And if it goes right, these will be like incredible technology businesses.
Yeah, I think for every agency right now, there are a host of venture-backed, not by Aperium or maybe by Aperium, there's a host of venture-backed advertising agencies, whether it be in Amazon, whether it be coming out of YC. This is a trend in which AI-enabled services is, and the promise of that is around gross margins. So Joe, I know that you wanted to talk about gross margins. And in services businesses, you've had to linearly scale heads, which is basically your COGS to serve revenue. And with AI, you no longer need to do that. But with AI, you should be able to exponentially scale revenue and customers while maintaining the same team. And thereby a services business's gross margin looks really, really good. And so a lot of folks are saying, let me build an AI native version of this service, whether it be media agency or creative agency, whatever that might be. And the bet that those companies are making is effectively saying, I can grow customers and deliver outcomes to my clients in a better way, faster than you, the incumbents, can transform your org structure. And our bet that we're making, at least, is saying to the agencies that we work with, let us enable you to transform your org structure so that those AI first upstarts can't compete with you or won't be able to compete with you, and you'll be defensible in the same ways that they are. And they'll struggle to gain the trust, credibility in your space like you've taken years or decades to build.
Who loves this and who's the blocker? Like when I hear your pitch, I think like you're looking for like the AI pilled CEO is like the one who's going to be like, hell fucking yes. And then you probably have some really annoying, like conservative middle manager who's like, I don't want to do something new, who's like, no, but what does it look like?
I think we're now at a stage in which both CEO leadership as well as many middle managers are just realizing that this is an imperative that they need to lean into. I think that there was initially friction around middle management in particular about onboarding these new products, and particularly the work that's required to onboard these new products. Like training and onboarding Gigi is a non-trivial task. We have a pretty intensive 3-week onboarding program that if you're not committed to it, it's not going to lead to optimal results, or at least we won't even deploy Gigi unless we've done a proper onboarding. So there's a non-trivial amount of upfront lifting to customize and deploy this enterprise AI agent in a manner that fits your agency. I've generally speaking found that leadership and functional leadership, like exec leadership and functional leadership, are now aligned. The things that are blockers per se are exactly what we just mentioned, are the folks that are not adopting AI at the boots on the ground level, the folks that are ambivalent towards their job, are not realizing that this is a force multiplier, and are just fine with the status quo and their current ways of working. And so what that means is that when the functional leadership canvasses their team and is like, whoa, like, should we roll out Gigi post-pilot and commit to this long term? Effectively, what we see are the agencies with suboptimal media managers to begin with are the ones that are pushing back. And those that are unbelievably leaned in and super high conviction and realize the impact that this can have are like 2 massive thumbs up. And so one of the things that I believe to be true is most of our customers, as I mentioned, are not customers who are hiring Gigi and immediately cutting staff, but are rather growing too fast. They're unable to meet the demand for their services with the human capital supply that they can naturally build, which is hiring and training people. And so in effect, we bridge that gap with token capital to meet that demand. So the combination of human capital and token capital allows them to meet the demand that they have for the customers and grow and provide high-level client services to their customers in the manner that it's allowed them to excel. Now, the thing that I think is really powerful here is that this is a positive feedback loop. So everyone in AI right now talks about loops. So there's now a positive learning loop in which the highly skilled, highly trained, very effective human capital is able to deploy an AI agent at scale to the benefit of their customers and continuously improve on those workflows. And I would say that they're in an opportunity to actually accelerate the lead that they have on their peers who are not gaining that new business, that do not have those degrees of open heads, because they're not creating this IP of the positive learning loop between human capital and token capital. And so getting back to who is the blocker for us, the blocker is ambivalence about their job. The blocker is the agency that's just doing sufficiently okay, that just use this as an incremental cost. And those that are doing exceptionally well, like it's not lost on us that our customer base is primarily some of the largest independent agencies in the US. And they got there because they're excellent at their job. They have team members that they've trained to be excellent at their job. And they have a lot of happy customers who are telling more customers to come to that agency. And that's where we're winning right now, is at the best possible agencies. And we feel so fortunate to be in that position. And I'm only able to qualify this because I've now seen Gigi deployed across a broad spectrum of customers. And these are the common characteristics that we see of success.
Gigi is for the dogs. Gigi's the
real ones know, Joe. Real ones know.
It's for the agencies that are like, F this, I'm not satisfied with the status quo, got to scale this shit up fast. We got to be on the cutting edge. We got to do new shit. That's how I feel about Shark Tank, you're for the CEOs who are like, I need to be on Twitter and LinkedIn mixing it up. I don't want to do the faceless corporate press release. Boring, but we are beset on all sides by evil, like the noble man, Adam. All right. We gotta come for those who are satisfied with the status quo and light a fire under their asses so that they do something new and exciting.
One behavior, I told Eric this the other day, one behavior that I thought was super cool. So I was just in Cannes 2 weeks ago, and Amazon had this awesome leadership event where like top agency execs were there, top brand execs, top Amazon execs. Oprah was there, Kevin Durant was there, and a president of one of these large agencies that we work with was there. And I've actually never met him. I've only known him from the DocuSign. And I introduced myself, and he was talking to another agency exec. I said, I'm Adam, co-founder and CEO of Gigi. And the president of the company that we work with said to this other guy, like, oh, Gigi, like agentic media buying. Yeah, we're really leaned in. Our team is loving it. And he was gloating. That's what I realized. Like he was actually gloating of his agency's use of Gigi because he knows that this is the future and that they're leaning in. And they're only 3 weeks into their pilot at the time of that. It's going really well because their team members are super leaned in. They have an awesome team that holds a really high bar, and they immediately see that Gigi's a force multiplier. But I haven't seen that behavior before. It used to be me like banging on the drums of like, you need to adopt AI. And now they're gloating at their adoption of AI relative to their peers. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, your heart must have been busting out of your chest to the extent that your buttons were probably popping.
Yeah, I gave a big fist bump to Kevin Durant and dropped the mic and went home.
Amazing. Let's talk about Amazon. One of the things that you've chosen to focus on is like, at least initially, building on Amazon, building for Amazon customers. There's oftentimes, I don't know if it's controversy or what. How do you respond to that whole meme?
Well, what's the controversy?
Well, I think the critique is, and I've heard this from people in the industry. They'll say they're like, and not just about Gigi, but about any company that sort of like hitches its wagon to one like tech giant, right? They're like, oh, well, are they really vulnerable because they are focused on the Amazon DSP? And one day Amazon might just replace them or automate them out or freeze them out or whatever.
Yeah, like the single platform thing.
Yeah, totally. So one, we're rapidly expanding to other media channels. Amazon is our starting point. We started on Amazon for 4 reasons. One, across our 13-person team, we have over 30 years of Amazon ad tech experience. 2, there's not really any competitors doing this on the Amazon DSP, whereas if we focused on more commerce or bottom of funnel ads, it's a much more competitive aspect. 3, there's a lot of great industry tailwinds on the Amazon DSP right now. I'm not sure who coined this phrase, but someone said it's great to be a barnacle on a whale. And there's just incredible tailwinds for Amazon DSP. So every agency that we work with, like, oh, Amazon DSP, yeah, like it's growing a lot. Like this is actually a problem for us. And so we sell painkillers, this is a pain in their industry and that they can't hire people fast enough. And it's because of the growth winds of Amazon DSP. And then fourth, Amazon DSP is just notoriously tough to navigate from an operational perspective. So for many agencies, it's the highest cost to serve media channel. And so we significantly make that easier for them. So that's why we started. We're not beholden to the Amazon DSP. We're actively building for new media channels right now. What I would say is a few things. One, I've been working as an Amazon ad tech partner for almost a decade now. So I know the ins and outs of how Amazon operates, and Amazon thinks API first. So Amazon Ads takes an AWS approach in which they've effectively said, we believe the partner ecosystem can create greater economic value for all of us if we think API first and really embrace partners. And they have for over a decade. I previously worked at a retail media company that sold to Essential for a little over $100 million that was built on Amazon ad tech. Eric is on the board of a large retail media company, of which a lot of their revenue is from Amazon. So a high degree of enterprise value has been created by companies that have been working with Amazon, and Amazon is a great partner. All that to say, the platform risk of being on one channel is a real platform risk, but more so than a risk, the customers that have really leaned into Gigi has effectively gone to us and said, okay, we're in, like we're bought in, we get it. this has changed the way in which we operate this media channel. But our team, the people that are using your product, are not just in the Amazon DSP. You need to expand to the other surface areas that these team members operate in right now in order for us to re-architect this portion of our org in an AI-first way. If you're just in one media channel, I can't make the org changes that you're telling me to do. So you need to expand to enable me to do that. And so we're actively building for other media channels right now.
I honestly think you only need one sentence to answer this question. Amazon represents a massive opportunity. It's one of the leading DSPs. And if we were to succeed at building the number one agentic media buyer for the Amazon DSP, we would be a 9-figure company, and we're going to be. But also, it's just a point of departure, and we're going to leverage what we've learned to conquer other channels in a similar way. You do that, right? Ultimately, that's it. It's like, you're like, yeah, this is the right platform to start with. We're going to crush it there. We're building a very strong business on that basis, but we're also going to leverage everything we've learned on this channel to then go do it on other channels. And we already have partners who are super leaned in from their work with us on Amazon. So
correct.
I think ultimately that's what it boils down to.
Eric, you take Joe's investor pitch to platform dependency.
Yeah. I mean, it's always something that we think about. We've passed on companies for that reason, but I think Joe put a nice bow on the walkthrough that you did in terms of why this specific one is so interesting at this moment in time and in the future, and it gives you a great platform to build from.
I just always love a story where it's like, when someone comes at you and they're like, well, this isn't a big enough opportunity, or there's platform risk or whatever, and you're like, well, if I conquer this opportunity, I have a giant, very successful business. And this is clearly just the point of departure. And I'm easily going to be able to replicate what I've learned from this area to expand to other areas. To me, that's always I don't know. I love the structure of that argument.
Yeah. So that's our take. I think an interesting thing is, we're obviously not the only company in this space. Since we've come to market, there have been a wave of agentic media buying companies built on the backs of walled gardens. And I think what's unique to us is that a lot of those other companies are immediately going quite broad in the channels with which they operate. And I can't speak to those other companies, but what I can say is we're all constrained by product and engineering resources. And yes, engineers can work faster and do more work and be more productive than ever. But I told you guys, our team has taken the painstaking work of integrating with every single API endpoint in the Amazon DSP so that you can assign Gigi work and Gigi can do the work of a team member. We have our revenue chart in our investor deck in which it goes exactly the way that you would want, up and to the right. And I get asked, what happened? And what happened is when we first launched this product, we didn't integrate with all of these API endpoints. Gigi couldn't do these sorts of things. Gigi didn't have these skills. And so we would have a PDF to our customers of these are all the things that Gigi can do, and these are all the things that Gigi can't do. And think about it like a team member, right? You can't hire a team member and say go do this work, but I know that you kind of can't do this aspect of the work. That just doesn't work, right? And so once we remove the PDF and our customers knew that they could assign Gigi work, any work that they would assign a team member, that's when we hit this massive inflection point in product market fit. And so our perspective is that we need to do the heavy lifting to go a mile deep in one channel so that Gigi can effectively replace or enhance labor on that one channel for us to go to another one. And so we are being very methodical in how we approach this, because that's what we've seen from our customers. We're not here. I'm not here to win a demo in which I can say that I can manage budget pacing across 10 different channels. I'm here to provide value to the enterprises that hire Gigi. And we've learned that the best way to do that is to go a mile deep and ensure that Gigi can perform all of the work that they would normally assign a team member.
I was smiling because I've looked at a bunch of companies. Corey on our team, Corey Farrago, who we've had on the pod, he's even created an acronym, IMPs, Integrated Marketing Platforms, just to have a word, because there is an ecosystem building. And I'm smiling because when you painted that picture, I was like, the other ones before you said it are kind of inch deep, mile wide, right? Because they're trying to be a layer on top of every API based platform. And to your point, it's budget pacing today, performance optimization tomorrow, but it's like super hard to do this across, platforms that have their own, wildly varying idiosyncrasies. So it makes a lot of sense, and it's not surprising that the revenue
revenue doesn't lie. And ultimately, if you're going to deploy AI agents within an enterprise, for you, the vertical AI agent, they need to rationalize your cost with either efficiency gains internally or performance benefits for their clients. And our learning, at least, I can't speak to every company, but our learning at least shows that the only way to rationalize efficiency gains is if the AI agent can do all of the work that a team member would do for that media channel. And so that's how we've been able to grow our revenue so significantly over the past couple quarters, because Gigi's been able to do that. And our customers are hiring Gigi to do exactly that.
Well said. Good place to end it, I think.
I agree. Adam, you bring a depth of expertise and plenty of enthusiasm and occasionally pull-ups in linens and button-downs. And those are really the three things we require to be on this pod. So we thank you.
I think that every guest in the future of open market needs to do some form of pull-ups, push-ups before they record with you guys and ask them to post it on X. This is a new thing. Let's start this.
I love
Who's next? Who's after me?
Heather from Mad Connect. Yeah, we'll ask her. We'll tell Sharona that now she needs to brief all of our potential guests with that. And I'm sure that won't scare anyone away.
Look, it will. The same way I said AI adoption self-selects the best people.
That's
Open market appearances self-select the real ones. If you can't do the pull-ups to talk to Joe and Eric, why even be on open market?
You got to do at least one pull-up. I mean,
or at least try.
come on.
open market is for the dogs.
There you
Adam,
go.
Where can people find you and find this clip of you doing pull-ups in your limit?
I'm on X, A Epstein. I'm on LinkedIn. One thing that I've really enjoyed doing over the past 6 months is writing a weekly newsletter called Cherry Picked. I think you can go to cherrypick.gigico.ai. In the world of AI slop, it is not AI slop. I was very happy to hear people at Cannes come up to me like on their own and say like, I've really enjoyed your newsletter. I take a lot of pride in it. One of our customers said, I don't know how you have the time to do it. And I said, it's really simple. It's 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday nights. And nice. I take a lot of pride in it. So if you'd like to learn about our perspective in growing this business and my perspective on building in AI, I write there every week and take a lot of pride. We have a 40% open rate, which is pretty good. Joe, what's your open rate?
Like 48%?
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a flex. This guy can do 20 pull-ups. He's got a 48% open rate. Unbelievable.
And no peptides.
And not
a single peptide. Meanwhile, Adam before... I wanted to clip Adam being like, we're selling painkillers. I was like, Adam's going to sell the opiates to help with Eric's rotator cuffs after he tries to do the pull-ups to keep up with Joe.
Amazing. All right, Adam, always a pleasure. You bring so much to the pod. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.